The objective that we're trying to aim here is basically to develop, apply, strengthen, and recognize, no? So first is to develop a financial leadership mindset, one that sees beyond personal budgeting and focused on stewardship. And of course, apply or learn how to apply financial literacy to our everyday decision, because every choices, even small ones, has a financial consequence as well. Third is strengthen our sense of accountability and of course sustainability, ensuring that the way we use resources today supports our long-term goals, personal and also within the firm. And lastly, recognize. So recognize how every financial choice influence growth personally for team and for the firm as well. No? So, why financial leadership matters? Dati, lagi nating sinasabi na financial understanding is just for accountant, no? Right now, it's no longer just for us accountants, no? It's not just a number anymore, no? It's a leadership in action, and it's also a leadership competency when you fully understand yung financial understanding. Each of us is, of course, entrusted with certain resources. Lahat naman tayo, even kayo, even ako, on our daily lives or even at work, we are entrusted with certain resources. Like, what are those? Even outside financial. Syempre, financial given na yun, di ba? What is the most valuable? 'Di ba, yung time? Certain resources such as time, the effort, or even the client's trust, lahat yan entrusted to us. So think of it as a seed, no? How we plant and nurture and grow them reflects our stewardship and our leadership, no? Your financial mindset or our financial mindset should go beyond personal budgeting and compliances, no? So actually, it's about seeing how every decision we make, even smallest one, can impact our team, our engagement, our personal life, and ultimately, for example, sa situation natin is of course yung firm, no? So I know it's very challenging, no, to halimbawa given or entrusted certain resources to us. It's really challenging to keep the mindset on or even how to manage it, kasi we have our own individual capacity and characters. So ano-ano ba yung mga challenges na nakikita natin or we have, no? I believe lahat to is challenge sa atin. Even kahit ako, na-challenge din ako sa mga ganitong situation. Ano yon? First is losing sight of financial impact of daily work. So the first challenge is when we lose sight of how our daily work impact our financial or even the firm's financial performance. Like for example, spending on task. Halimbawa, we do our task but we spend extra hours dun sa task na yon. Or nami-miss natin yung mga deadlines, 'di ba? Or even yung repeating yung work due to unclear communications. These are some of the inefficiency, no? That seems minor but each has cost. Ano yung cost nun? Syempre andyan na yung time, yung resources, and of course the trust. Lalo na kapag paulit-ulit yung job, no? So, what is our counterbalance, no? So, how are we going to respond on these possible challenges that we are facing in our everyday lives, no? So it is important that we ensure na integrity is there, no? So it means being truthful and transparent, no? Acknowledging where resources are going and reporting it accurately. First is we have to recognize what are the inefficiency and lapses on our end and making decision as if the firm's money is or your own. So, ito yung medyo challenging sa part, no? Kasi when we given a particular task, it is always meron tayo in mind na, "Ay, ano naman 'to, sa firm naman 'to, hindi naman 'to sa'kin," 'no? So, but, in essence, the seed that were given to us is an opportunity for us in the future to grow on our own. So, right now, we are given a seed na dapat ngayon pa lang vina-value na natin siya, or even all the clients that given to us, i-value natin as sa atin talaga. So, every decision that we make, dapat ano siya, parang sa'yo talaga yung kliyente, parang ino-own mo talaga siya, 'no? So, integrity reminds us that, stewardship begins with honest. So, yun yung importante, 'no? Because when we entrusted with the seed, of responsibility, it's our duty to grow it faithfully and not to waste it, 'no? Sayang naman yung binigay sa atin. So, every decision that we make was visible in the firm's, also financial statement, as you can see. So, I'm not sure if you, within the team, halimbawa doon sa mga teams nyo, nagkakandak kayo ng mga quarterly update with your team na pinapakita ng immediate superior nyo yung financial performance. That's the financial statement that's go within the firm, no? So, nakikita natin yon. So, yon. Second challenge is, of course, acting on impulse or convenient. Ayan. Ito yung ano, siguro, kahit ako guilty dito kasi there are times na admitted ko na yung cramming. So, I think everyone knows that, even kahit nung nag-aaral pa kayo, di ba? Pag nagre-review, nagka-cram na tayo. So, yun. The second challenge is acting on impulse or convenient, no? Convenience. So, choosing what's faster or easier without thinking about long-term consequence, no? For example, you are entrusted to a particular client and you know very well how to do it, no? So, in impulse, you will do it. Kasi alam mo na kung paano siya gawin ng mas mabilis kasi masyado ka lang ano dun eh. You're very confident and you can do it on an efficient manner. But given the chance, you have an opportunity also to share your knowledge to, for example, you have an available staff within your team that your superior entrusted to you, no? So how are you going to manage or to ensure that the people entrusted to you will given the opportunity of the knowledge that you have, no? So on a short term, on an impulse, convenience, you will do it on your own without considering na you can diverse the task or you can delegate the task to others, no? So, it's at first really it's not convenient, no? Tama. It's really not convenient because it's not your forte to delegate or you don't know how to review your stuff. So but that's the essence of the opportunity. You were taking out of your comfort zone for you to embody another challenge, no? It's like when you given a let's say 50,000. You know how to manage 50,000. Pero pag binigyan ka ng 1,000,000 or 500,000, how were you able to manage it, no? So that's the essence of it. So it's another challenge, 'di ba? Which is not convenient, no? So if you continue to act on impulse and convenience, ang gagawin mo lang, for example, given na hindi mo ituturo kung ano yung knowledge na meron ka doon sa staff kasi it's a waste of time for you, short term, no? It's a waste of time for you and inefficient for you. So, moving forward, nabibigyan ng resources or opportunity to take other client. Halos hindi mo na siya magawa lahat kasi akala mo kaya mong gawin kasi nga it's your convenience sa'yo na ikaw lang yung gumagawa. But later on, hindi mo nare-realize na mas maganda pag maraming nakakaalam kung ano yung ginagawa mo. Kasi you have the ability to take other challenge bigger than what you have right now, no? So yun. So how are you going to counter this challenge, no? We need to counter it with prudence, no? Prudence it's like a sustainable budgeting, no? So it's a discipline of posing before deciding. So yun, when you given a opportunity to lead or to you have to pose and plan on your head, no? Ensuring that your actions would be intentional and could be value adding, not only for yourself but for the whole team as a whole, no? So yun. It's like it's like watering your seed, no? Not too much and not too little, no? Even yung mga even yung stuff given to you, or even the opportunity that given to you, watering it not too much but not too little, no? So it is a steady and thoughtful care that allows every growth without a waste, no? Making sure na na-maximize talaga natin yung lahat ng resources that we have. That's prudence, no? Baka isipin nyo yung prudence sobrang sure matipid, ganyan. So it's basically, it's more on maximizing what you have or the resources given to you. So next is focusing on short-term deliverables, no? So yeah, ito yung natin, minsan we are more focused doon sa short-term deliverables like deadlines, or even yung mga natin, yung mga goals natin, whether personal or professional. It's sometimes we tend to focus on short term, no? Many of us are so task driven then, and we forget to connect it on a bigger picture, no? Lagi ko tong sinasabi, when you always think your destination, no? Isipin mo lagi saan mo ba gusto pupunta for you to know which direction, no? Kasi the destination is long-term goal, no? Yun. So how are we going to counter this short-term deliverables, no? With, of course, a strategic mindset or having a long-term growth, no? Strategic mindset is leadership value then that lift us from short-term thinking to our long-term value creation, no? We need to always ask, how does this decision contributes to sustainable outcome or the destination that I want moving forward or in the future, no? So every decision that you make, whether it is a financial or professional, personal or professional, always ask how this decision contributes. That's a value of a strategic mindset, no? It sees beyond the current situation, recognizing that it's like planting no? You don't need to, yung, di ba pag nagtatanim tayo, hindi naman natin yan, hindi naman natin siya araw-araw chine-check kung maganda na ba yung bunga or nagbubunga ka siya. Kasi hindi naman talaga yun magbubunga agad, di ba? So, yun. It's like planting, no? You don't dig up the seed every day to see if it's growing. So, you just water it consistently, not too little and not too much, no? So, yun. And lastly, the challenge of avoiding leadership or ownership, no? Sometimes when things go wrong, personally or professionally, or even at work, doing your task with your team, it's easy to say that, or it's easy to point out or reason out the cause, no? Instead of owning it, yung whole outcome, no? But the true leader is the other way around, no? They own how it turned out, no? That's the power or the values with accountability, no? So it means recognizing that leadership isn't about to blame others. Even the seed that given to you, kapag nag-grow siya, you don't like or hindi mo nagustuhan yung outcome niya, it's not how, hindi siya yung i-blame mo siya sa iba. It's more on recognizing that there's something or whatever outcome on that is on you, no? So accountability means recognizing that leadership isn't about blame, no? It's about ownership. So it's more on communicating proactively when things change and collaborating on solution rather than waiting someone else to fix it. So that's accountability, no? You don't wait others to fix your mess, no? So financial accountability, even accountability, hindi siya yung they don't hide overruns, no? They flag them early. They know that it will happen and act responsibly. That's accountability. So, yeah. So, accountability ensures the trust placed in us continues to grow. So, same with the seat given to us, no? So, these 4 values, integrity, prudence, strategic mindset, and accountability are the roots of financial leadership. So, sila dapat yung maging foundation natin kapag in relation to financial leadership, no? it should be an everyday actions, no? You have to embody integrity, prudence, strategic mindset, and accountability on your everyday life. I'm not saying na dapat meron ka na nito ngayon, no? So, it's a small step. It's just need to be practiced consistently. So, small consistent habits that grow with sustainable impact, no? Yun naman yung gusto natin eh. We don't want to rush things, no? We just want to have small consistent actions in everything that we do, no? All these values is already in us or integrated with our personal lives, no? It fed to a bigger or something bigger results, no? Ano yung nag-spring or magiging outcome when we have these values, no? Of course, andyan na yung strategic foresight, no? So when you already know how to manage or when you already have this foundation, it is expected that you already have strategic foresight, no? Ito yung mga nade-develop, yeah. Isa to sa nade-develop sa inyo. Strategic foresight. It's the ability to plan and act on future implications of financial and operational decision. Kaya di ba napapansin nyo your leaders, sometimes may problema kang binabato sa kanya pero alam niya kung papaano siya i-resolve or even nagde-discuss kayo but there are already countermeasure na gusto niyang ipagawa sa inyo kasi alam niya na mangyayari yun, right? So that's strategic foresight, no? Not only on it affects the operations or your client but also it will benefit the whole budget of your engagement as well. So yun. So it's the ability to anticipate, plan, and act on future implications of financial and operational decisions, no? This foresight, they just not look just on the numbers, no? So they tend to check on trends, pattern, or signal early, no? Siguro example na I can give dito is if ever you will see yung kapag halimbawa marami na kayo nagiging rework is increasing, like you tend to create or to recreate all the tasks given to you, no? So, and you proactively training the team pero hindi siya nangyayari. So, there should be a strategic foresight for you to counterbalance that, no? So, it's more of a higher level of anticipation and strategy, no? So another example is anticipating that clients, yung scope ng client may require changes before like for example, yung client magkakaroon ng possible problem. So there's a possibility na alam mo na siya before pa yun mangyari. So right now, naggagawa ka ng mga countermeasures, no? Yeah, that's a strategic foresight, no? Na nai-embody or nagkakaroon tayo when we all have this kind of values na. Next is a second higher, which is the ethical culture, no? This is more a collective behavior, no? That reflect honesty, fairness, and respect in how people use and manage resources. So, ethical culture is not built by compliance policy, no? It is built by consistent modeling, no? Kaya nga sinasabi ko, dapat tayo, if in-embody natin yung mga values na ito, it's more of, it becomes a norm, no? So, when leader admits yung ganito, for example, may oversight ka na, the team or the ethics will be regular na siya. So, it's like a norm, no? Magiging given na itong mga to. Integrity, prudence, strategic mindset, and accountability. It's become a norm. Para siyang, di ba yung mga magsasaka, they know how to soil or they know how to enrich the soil, no? Kapag magtatanim sila. So, it's more of norm na nila yon. So, same with us. If we have this kind of values, magiging norm na natin yung ethical behavior na dapat may embody sa atin, no? The principle that we will be creating, no? Or we will be having. And finally, the highest fruit of this all is the organizational trust, no? When integrity, prudence, foresight, and accountability becomes part of how we lead, people begin to trust not just in the result but on the intentions, no? So meaning team members already believe that their leaders is fair and transparent. So given na nga siya, naging norm na siya. And of course, client will feel confident with their engagement handled by, for example, by you or even by your team. And the firm sustain credibility because people consistently do what's right. Trust is the harvest of stewardship. So it takes time to grow. Like what I've said, hindi siya agad-agad. So small, consistent habits ang kailangan natin, no? So yun. So these three are not just ideals, no? So they are the natural fruit of this mindset, no? The integrity, the prudence, the strategic mindset, and the accountability, no? So we have to strengthen our transparency, preserve yung value with prudence, no? And shape long-term success with strategic mindset. And lastly, build with confidence, both within the team or within your personnel, no? So how are we going to do it, no? What are the framework to ensure that yung good intention natin translates? So how are we plan to allocate, decide, and review this, no? So there is a framework of financial leadership, no? Which transform our values and habit into sustainable and organizational wide impact. So first, we have three framework on financial leadership, no? So personal financial leadership. So lahat ng sinabi ko sa taas, it's all begins with self-discipline, no? Before we can lead finances, we have to first lead ourselves, no? So, yung time, yung attention, yung, tsaka yung habits natin, we have to lead yung sarili natin, no? Self-discipline means doing what's necessary even when it's not convenient, diba? So, ano yung convenience sa prudence, no? So, self-discipline means doing what's necessary even when it's not convenient. So, ano yung mga hindi convenient, 'di ba? Finance. So, for example, it's not convenient to track your time honestly. For example, sa office or on your personal, yung i-track yung expenses nyo regularly, 'di ba? Or hindi rin convenient na it's not convenient to transfer the knowledge because it's really requires time and the project is ongoing, no? This might seem small, yung mga inconvenience na to, but remember, if we have self-discipline to ensure that we were able to track or follow yung, for example, follow yung mga needed na kailangan natin gawin that is not convenient or continuously taking time to review your subordinates, yung small and consistent habits, yun yung that's self-discipline, no? So, the goal naman isn't perfection, no? You don't need to perfect it, no? But it's the value creation through consistency, no? When you're disciplined with your processes, your work naturally creates value, no? So to the firm, to your client, to your team, and even your personal lives, no? Second framework is organizational financial stewardship. So strategic resource management. So ito yung isa din sa pinaka-importante na malaman natin na framework, no? Once we already have self-discipline and value creation, we have to understand how we manage our resources, no? It's not about doing everything. Katulad nga nung sinabi ko, you don't need to do everything, no? It's about doing what matters most. And we all know that we all have resources given to us, but not all resources given to us are infinite, no? Lahat yan finite, no? Time, team capacity, and even the budget that is given to you, lahat yan, finite, no? So the key is to optimize them for highest impact. So how you able to arrange and maximize those resources given to you. So for example, planning, especially planning, for example, you're given a task or you're given a client, ang pinaka-challenging dyan is planning. Planning the team or planning the workloads that match with the strength, your strength and even your team members' strength, no? So that's strategic resource management, no? Setting a clear priorities early to avoid rework, right? So how are you going to manage your team that does not know, for example, how to do the task, 'di ba? So na even you hindi pa rin naman 'yon nagagawa, for example. So it's all about planning, no? It's all about setting a clear priorities early to avoid possible consequences or possible inefficiency, no? Ang daming pwedeng mangyari when your project is inefficient, no? So andyan na yung cost, so ma-derail yung cost, project mo with the client or client relationship, yun yung isa sa din, marami. Or firm reputation. That's the essence of strategic resource management. No? So it's not all about finance, no? It's the holistic approach, no? And of course, kasama doon sa planning mo or even dun sa dun sa strategic resource management is the anticipation. So you can anticipate bottlenecks before they escalate into cost issue. Yun nga, setting avoid avoid mga reworks in later because you already anticipated, no? So that's basically the strategic resource management. So strategic management is practical expression of prudence. So dito lalabas yung pagiging prudent pala natin, no? So the one that I already mentioned in the values, no? So it ensure that what we plant actually grows or kung ano yung na-provide sa atin, we tend to maximize it. We know how to make most of what entrusted to us, no? So yun. A good leader doesn't spend resources, no? They multiply them through clarity and efficiency and alignment. And lastly, so the third framework is financial system thinking, no? So integrating financial insights into decision ecosystem. So paano to? Parang sobrang sobrang taas naman ito, ma'am. Lang siya, simple lang siya. Don't over think. So this means that financial thinking should not be separated. When you think of something, for example, doing an engagement or making a decision, no, the financial thinking should not be separated on the task that you need to handle, no? It's not like yung 'di ba usually pag minsan yung mga financial task natin ginagawa lang siya at month end, no? It should be embedded in every decision that you make, no? So yun. When we plan an engagement timeline, for example, we think of it or we think both of the quality and the budget impact as well. So that's decision ecosystem, no? Not only the quality but the budget itself, no? Even when we propose a new process to client, no? We will assess its long-term return or its efficacy, effectiveness, no? How it really affect the company that you're or the client that you're engaging, no? And another example is when we decides on staffing, for example, by staff binigay sa atin, no? It's more on how we balance yung learning opportunities to them and how are we going to benefit from that, no? That's decision ecosystem. So how are you going to ensure na yung resources given to you will be managed accordingly, no? It's like when you make a decision, it's always hitting many birds in one stone, no? Because we're doing a decision that reflects the ecosystem of the whole, even on your personal, no? Or even on the client or for your team as a whole. So yun. It's about also connecting. It's more of connecting financial insight to your operational decision making or financial insight to your personal perspective, no? Or personal goal. So for example, your choices now is not only right for the moment, but also wise for the future, no? So this is where leadership to truly become holistic, no? Where values, strategy, and financial intelligence intersect, no? Imagine, you will intersect this within your team, no? So how are the expected result of this is more on a sustainable. It becomes sustainable and your team can actually grow from it, no? So let's talk those three aspects one by one, no? So let's first deal with personal financial leadership. The first step of this personal financial leadership is to align your resources with your values and purpose, no? So, in terms of financial, we have to know, no? For example, kahit kayo, you ask yourself right now, where do your money, time, and energy actually go? Because whether we realize it or not, no, our spending is the reflection of what we prioritize. Alam mo, puro Shopee pala ako. Char. So, yun. But kidding aside, but that's true, no? So, again, our spending is a reflection of what we prioritize. So, it's not only the money, no? It's the time, the energy, no? So, if we say we value our growth, most of our time should go towards building ourselves, no? Not, instead of our time will go to rework, rush output, yun, hindi yun align. Kapag sinabi natin, we value growth, pero yung actual na nangyari, lagi tayo nagre-rework, yung comment ng leader natin paulit-ulit, ganyan, lagi tayo nagka-cram on the output. So, it's not aligned. So, yun. You need to revisit that pag ano. Financial leadership also means that spending and working in aligning with what matters, no? Whether that's excellence, learning, or being sustainable, no? So, in short, it's more on we lead our resources towards our purpose, no? Not away from it. The second element of financial leadership is understanding the cognitive biases. Ayan, yung minsan hindi natin to nakikita yung ano kasi it's more on cognitive and sometimes is subconsciously. We kept on telling hindi pero when we realize it and when we become more aware, okay, yun pala talagang ano pala nangyayari pala siya. So then we tend to be self-aware, no? For example, what are these biases, no, na nakakapag-derail sa time, money, and energy natin, no? First is the mañana habit, no? That your overconfidence that you can finish is later. So, later na lang, I can finish it, no? So, that's overconfidence, no? So, yun. And also, yung other thing is, ginagawa mo lagi siya even if it's inefficient subconsciously kasi yun yung familiar sa'yo. So that's one of the cognitive biases then that you need to revisit. Technically right now you don't see the effect on your time, energy, and even your personal finances. But if it does not give you any value at all, but you tend to keep on doing it because you're familiar or it's habit, 'di ba? So that's the thing you need to question again, no? And lastly, some of the cognitive biases is aware tayo dito yung instant gratification, no? Choosing what feels good now over what truly valuable later, no? So instant gratification or yung ano ba yung niyo dito, yung mga gens, ayun, deserve ko to, ganun. So yun, pero wala pa talaga nangyayari or you're anticipating a particular valuable achievement later but you already get the gratification right now, no? So yun. Sometimes it's good to have or good to yung delayed gratification, no? So as a leader, no, or we need to be aware of these biases because they shape how we allocate our time, effort, and also our attention, no? So the key is not to eliminate them. Kasi hindi especially habits, it cannot be eliminated, no? But you have to recognize it and manage them accordingly, no? When you have these particular biases, you just need to accept and manage them accordingly, no? Since as long as you're self-aware, no, you lead your habit instead of letting your habits lead you, no? So that's basically how you're going to ensure na hindi kayo yung nadadala ng mga biases nyo. So, lead your habit instead of letting your habits leads you. So, recognize and manage them accordingly. Also, financial leadership extend beyond money, no? It also include yung managing your energy, time, and relationship, no? As a form of capital, no? Later, we'll talk more about those capital, no? But But every leader or every one of you have to accept that you all have limited resources, and it depends how you wisely allocate them, no? So, you have to manage your inner economy, no? So, yung wealth ecology na tinatawag natin, you have to manage your economy with the same discipline that you manage your financial budget. So, I know nagkakaroon tayo minsan ng mga burnout, miscommunications, or neglections, but it should not cause yung ourself or yung mga behavior natin. It should be intact pa rin as much as possible. The values that we need to instill within ourselves, no? We have to make it grounded, no? Making sure na grounded pa rin tayo. So how are we going to manage this ecology, or managing not only cash flow but energy, time, relationship, and financial tax? So some of the example that you can do, or when financial opportunities is stranded to you, no? I think some of the example or habit that you can do is set a weekly check-in on your financial in terms of money, time, no? Like weekly check-in or your time tracking or workload reflection to check if it's still aligned with your goal, no? Same with money. Matching your spending with your goals, and analyze, no? And also ask question to yourself, no? Kung lahat ba ng effort, the time, the energy, and the money that you put into produce value to you, right? So when it's aligned, no, with your values and purpose, it becomes natural, no? Magiging natural na lang yung lahat ng yung mga habits or yung values na in-instill mo, no? You will no longer react on the results, no? Instead, you respond with intention and purpose. So, going back dun sa capital that I'd mentioned kanina, in designing a personal financial system, we need to understand what are the capitals available to us, no? And also, opportunities given to you, not only financial, no? Kasi financial capital is already obvious, no? There's many other capital that you can maximize, no? But first, let's talk about financial capital, no? So, financial capital is our ability to manage money wisely. So, this isn't just about saving or budgeting, no? It's about understanding where our resources goes and ensuring that they align with our goals or with your goals. So, it means that being mindful not only in the firm personal finances, but how we use the firm's also resources, no? So, the way we handle it often reflects our mindset towards all other resources. So, that's very important. So, we need to know how to manage yung financial capital entrusted to us or kung ano yung meron tayo. Next is intellectual capital, no? So, intellectual capital is basically our knowledge, no? The financial literacy, the ability to learn continuously. So, yun. This capital grows every time we ask. What we need to ask, for example, how are we going to maximize this intellectual capital? By asking the question, why? No? So, let's always ask why question, no? Even kahit, for example, we're in a client, no? Let's always ask the question, why, no? As a professional, this is critical, no? Yung intellectual capacity. So, aware naman tayo to, no? When you understand how your decision connects with your personal and professional life, you will lead smarter, no? You will be smarter in every decisions. It's also about curiosity, no? The intellectual capital, keeping your learning mindset, and it will be activated, no? It will be systematic to you na if there's a new knowledge there around or standards, no? You'll be curious on how you deal with it, no? Since ganun naman talaga tayo, 'di ba? With this field, we have to continuously learn, no? We have to uphold our competency. So, yun. Third is the social capital. capital. Oo. So, some of here siguro, medyo may challenge in strengthening the social capital, no? So, this means yung mga networks and relationship natin, no? So, in leadership, relationship is a form of currency talaga. So, the higher your network or the more the network you have, the more you'll be known or you have possible engagement in the future, no? Kasi they open doors, like they strengthen yung collaboration, no? So financial stewardship isn't done in isolation, no? We need teams that communicate well, mentor who guide us, so to strengthen our social capital, and colleague who trust our judgment, no? So strong social capital means you can influence and not just instruct, no? So you can seek help early, so through mentorship, ganyan, to improve this capital, no? Next is emotional capital, no? So emotional capital is the one that often define our sustainability as a leader, no? So this is also one of the important capital that you need to grow or to enhance being a leader, no? Or becoming a leader, no? Oo. So, even on our work, no? This emotional capital is being resilient, no? And having yung tinatawag nating minsan delayed gratification, no? So, meaning my personal understanding on delayed gratification here is when you do a project or you, even on personal, no? When you have certain goals, no? You tend to focus on achieving it first before gratifying yourself or you did a good job, no? So, yun. And also being resilient, no? So, very important yun. Kasi, of course, in our work, no, staying composed is really what we needed, no? And also, we tend to make sure that meron tayong resilience, no, in every, for example, even doon sa mga client na sobrang medyo challenging i-handle, no? So, we have to keep this emotional capital, no? Actually, emotional capital is what we keeps our integrity intact, no? When pressure builds, no? So, yun. Especially during the demanding season. So, yun. So, emotional capital yung need natin during that time. And lastly is the spiritual capital, no? Oo. But this is not on on a religious sense, but on a holistic sense, no? To have a purpose-driven stewardship, no? The sense of purpose and direction, no? It's more on belief that what we do matters, no? So that, for example, that every report, engagement, every mentoring moments with our superiors contribute to something greater than ourselves, no? So, purpose-driven siya. So, this is also what we keep ourselves grounded, no? When external motivation fades, no? Yung purpose-driven. So, kasi sometimes when we know why we do what we do, we make decisions that are not just efficient, no? But meaningful and ethical. So, dito lumalabas yung yung spiritual capital, no? Yung purpose natin. Purpose is the anchor that keeps all our capital aligned, no? This financial, intellectual, social and emotional. Without it, even the most disciplined system or even grounded tayo ng mga values, malulose din tayo ng direction kapag wala tayong purpose, no? Yep. And let's now talk about the organizational financial stewardship, no? So, this is how same mindset of stewardship applies when managing teams, engagement, and firm-wide resources, no? So, how are we going to manage it, no? So, there are 3 areas lang naman to sa organizational financial stewardship, no? So, we must understand that everything that we do, no, in terms of stewardship leadership, we think beyond profit, no? We just focus on values, transparency, and accountability. So it's not all the time. It's not about maximizing profit at all cost, no. But of course, we very ano naman on the profit, no. We tend to make sure that every engagement that we do, it's profitable, no. But it's about optimizing the value or optimizing value with integrity in everything that we do. In a traditional finance, success is often measured by profit margins, no? Katulad pag minsan kapag tinatanong tayo how many clients, how much is your ano, 'di ba? Given 'yan, nakikita natin 'yan. But in leadership, financial stewardship keep asking a deeper question, no? What kind of value are we creating or what kind of value did you deliver? So it's beyond profit kasi the value, it's ano it can't be measured, no? Value means we don't just look on numbers, no? We look at the impact. So impact on how we deliver the quality results that builds long-term client trust, no? The impact on the transparency, for example, how we manage our time and being accountable on the charges that we declared, no? And of course, on impact on all the ethical outcomes based on what we do. Kasi it's not measured financially, no? The impact or the value that we create. So when we practice transparency, accountability, yung financial resource naturally will flow because yung trust kasi andun na siya and it will be the foundation of sustainable profit, no? Even in our profession, when we are given a client, that's basically the seed, no? So what are we going to do with the seed? How are we going to grow it, no? So in order for us to grow it, at first, 'di ba, when you're given a seed, it's like isang engagement to sa client. Pero pag ginalingan natin yung client or nagbigay tayo ng value doon sa client, 'di ba, tendencies are nag-aano sila, nagre-repeat sila ng engagement and as well as nire-retain din nila yung engagement, no? That's the natural flow or the financial result will naturally follow, no? When you provide quality results with your client, they keep on coming back, no? So financial, sometimes it's just the effect of how we manage our resources, no? Second is building a culture of cost consciousness and financial mindfulness, no? So cost consciousness, I'm not saying that we cut corners, no, or we eliminate cost, no. It's about using the resources wisely and intentionally, no? Even right now, siguro may mga seniors to or some of the ESAs or associate here already have discussion with their superior to manage the resources wisely, no? So this is the holistic sense of it, no? Building a culture of cost consciousness, no? So it's about building a culture, no? This doesn't mean that your leader, for example, or the firm is obsessed with numbers, no? Na dapat may profit, dapat hindi kayo masyado nag-charge. It's not that, no? It means that everyone becomes aware of the cost or the choices that they make, no? Actually, the question on that is, are you managing the resources or time given to you, no? When they ask you a question, why are you keep on reworking something that's I keep on reviewing, for example, or bakit lagi mong inuulit yung mga bagay na nagawa ko na before, for example, like na-comment ko na siya sa'yo before, then comes right now, meron ulit, nangyari ulit siya, kinoment ko ulit. So that's a rework, that's inefficiency, right? It's time that is wasted, no? So reducing rework by making sure that you grasp the context. It's more on making sure that we effectively use our time, no? So that's cost consciousness then at the same time, no? Second, ano pa yung example? Planning field work efficiency to maximize overtime, no? So for example, you're having a project that's need to be conducted outside the office, no? So you will be having a planning meeting the expectation is you'll be having a planning meeting so that when you go there on the site or on the field, the actual execution will be efficiently conducted. There are no back and forth of communication, how to do it, how to do that, ganyan, to maximize the time. And of course, minimize your overtimes, no? So, yeah, that's basically cost conscious and financial mindfulness, no? So, these are not just operational efficiencies, no? This is more an act of stewardship, no? Yung having this kind of culture, no? So, financial mindfulness means we make deliberate, informed decision that respect both budget and of course the people, no? So, when we do certain task or when we delegate certain task, no, let's always ask us question, no, is this necessary? Is this adding value? And how can this be done smarter and efficiently? Sa audit, we have this, kapag nagsistart kami ng audit methodology training, the tone that we embedded is how we do the work in an effective and efficient manner. So it's not only for audit, no. It same goes with all other engagement that you're going to do, no. So, yun. Making sure that you know if it's necessary, if it will add value, or is there any efficient way to do this, no? Like, gawin ko to para it will hit more stones, no? More stone. One stone, more birds. No? So, yung this culture actually, yung mindset na to, will become reflective, no? Rather than reactive moving forward kapag continuously we practice this. And of course, lastly is the financial translator, no? So, bridging operations and financial. So, yun. This third area is basically one of the most important roles we have, no? So, being a financial translator, no? So, in the organization kasi, I know not everyone understand yung analysis or beyond the finance, no? But every decision has financial implication. We need to understand that. So, every decision that we make has financial implication. So, as a leader or becoming a leader, part of our stewardship is to bridge the gap, helping the team understand how operational actions affect financial result as well, no? For example, yung accurate time tracking, 'di ba? Your leader always tend to remind you to accurately time track yung time natin because right now kasi for example, we don't have system. So, the leader want to know yung profitability of the certain engagement. So, that's the reason why, no? And, siguro yung na lang dito, yung sunod na discussion natin would be the resource management, no? How are we going to manage our resources? No? So, how are you going to optimize our finite resources for infinite impact, no? So, there are 4 R's in this resource management, no? Kanina, we've already discussed the resource management, but let's dive into it, no? So, how are we going to manage our resources? Of course, first, we have to recognize, no? What's really happening. So awareness is very important, no? So we have to be aware on the available time, effort, and cost that is currently being used, no? Everything begins with recognition, no? Yung awareness before we can improve how we use our resources, no? We need to see where they are going, no? Like, I think mapapansin nyo yan if kahit right now, since you're doing personally the project or even later kapag meron na kayong teams or yung mga dito na may team na, mapapansin nyo yon na may mga recurring overtime patterns, rework for certain areas or section within your engagement, bottlenecks, no? Or even client coordination, you have to be aware or recognize those, no? So, yun. So, recognition, it's not about to blaming, no? Oo, it's about clarity. Hindi mo siya tinitingnan, "Ay may ganito, may ganyan, bakit ano." So, it's more on ano, accepting it first 'no, because what we don't acknowledge, hindi natin siya mai-improve. So, when we recognize that, when we're already aware, what's the next step 'no? Second is we rationalize 'no. So, next is we will ask the question, "Why?" naman. Why is this happening, no? Understanding the root cause of inefficiency or misalignment, no? Bakit ang daming overtime? Bakit siya napapagod? Ganyan. Ba't pagod na yung team natin? Ganon. Ba't lagi itong mali? Ganyan. Anong nangyayari? Ba't hindi natatapos yung engagement? So, once we see where resources are being drained, we need to understand why, no? Bakit siya nangyayari? So, i-rationalize natin siya. So, rationalizing help us to move from reaction to reflection. So, instead of sabihin natin na, ay, wala na tayong budget, ganyan. Or, ano bang nangyayari? Bakit ito lang naman gagawin. Parang ganon. It's more on instead of instructing that, it's more on first rationalize or check the whys, no? For us to know how to shift them, no? So, once we already know why is this, bakit siya mga nangyayari, we can already know the option or how to move forward, no? That comes with the third, no? Reallocate, no? How we can redirect resources wisely, no? When we already recognize, we already know the root cause, this is the time that we allocate or reallocate how we can redirect the resources wisely, no? Adjusting the time, the people, even the budget towards other priorities to make the engagement work, no, and be delivered, actually delivered, no. So we need to reallocate, no. Kaya minsan napapansin nyo yung immediate superior nyo or even the higher ups are tend to reorganize or rearrange your task to do this, to do that is kasi nagdaan sila sa ganyan. They already recognize, they rationalize, and now they are planning to reallocate the current available resources. So that's normal within our particular team, no? So, don't be close-minded on that. Take it as opportunity, no? The reallocation, no? So, reallocation means making conscious decision to redirect effort, time, and budget toward where it matters most, no? So, yun. Kaya minsan nabibigay sa inyo yung mga task na, halimbawa may nagawa na kayo dati, ay tapos ko na yan ba't bibigyan pa ako ng iba? Because that's how your superior reallocate the resources, no? So, yun. And lastly is the reinforce, no? How do we make this sustainable? So the concept here is more on embedding improvements through accountability in culture, no? So this final R is about making resource mindfulness part of our culture, no? Once we identify what works, we reinforce it through more on changing yung loops or making sure that all the resources, time, and budget were aligned, and recognition of efficiencies to make a value driven results to our client. No? So yeah, that's a reinforcement, no? So reinforcement is sometimes we do it, for example, when we achieve certain areas of values, no, or we achieve a certain value that can also be adopted with the others, no. It's like more of a practice, no? So, reinforcement, when you already reallocate and already find the right mix, that's the time you can allow it to reinforce, no? Like sharing good practices across engagement. So, that's one thing, no? And become the system, no, of doing it based on the per engagement, no. So, yun. Kung good practices naman siya, bakit mo siya i-confine within your team, no? Where others can benefit it as well. So that's reinforcement. That's the real sustainable growth, no? So not only you but others as well. So right now, we will be having a session or group activities. I'll be giving everyone a scenario, no? So this is a scenario for everyone. So kanina, we've discussed the four foundation values of the financial leadership, no? Integrity, prudence, accountability, and strategic mindset, no? So the expectation, every team has integrity, no? They already have this integrity value within them, no? But adding prudence to the team, for example, yung team prudence, meron dapat silang integrity and prudence, yung nila, yung quality ng team nila. Why I want to everyone to have integrity in place, no? Since integrity is one of our core values, no, in the I do. So I'm expecting everyone has integrity, no? And what will happen and we add other values such as prudence, accountability, and the strategic mindset, no? So the expectation you'll be given a guiding questions that you will answer having this values, no? Integrity plus prudence, integrity plus accountability, and integrity plus strategic mindset, no? Let me read the scenario, no? So your team are working on a client engagement, no? So the job has a tight budget and timeline. You've noticed that some of the tasks are taking longer than planned and certain procedures are repeated because of unclear communication. So at the same time, some team feel their overload, no? While team lead feel pressured to deliver quickly, you realize this small inefficiency affect not just the deadline, but the firm's financial performance and client satisfaction. So you are going to answer what small habits or decision in the engagement impact the time, cost, or budget efficiency. How do your personal work practice affect the firm's overall financial performance, and what behavior reflect financial stewardship in your daily work, no? And lastly, identify one practical action your team can take within 30 days to promote financial leadership. It could be about improving review efficiency, reducing rework, or better time tracking. So, right now we all understand how each of the values is important to each other, no? So, imagine if you have or if you consistently doing those values. So, as we end this session, no, I just want everyone to have a key takeaway, no? So what would be our key takeaway for this session? So I just want to leave everyone that stewardship is leadership in action, no? It's how we honor that seed or the opportunities entrusted to us, no? So it reminds us that every assignment, every budget, every decision is an opportunity, no, to honor and trust what is given to us. And it's not about compliance anymore, no? It's more of about commitment, no, on your goal and even doon sa opportunities given to you, no? So it turns everyday work into integrity and excellence, no? And also next, kanina pa natin 'to sinasabi, it's like a seed, no? All the opportunities like seed. A wise leader nurture resources with foresight. So, knowing that growth takes time, which is it really does. They invest effort early. So, early planning, communication, and alignment. So, your team or even yourself can thrive later, no? So, every good decision compounds. Alam naman natin yan. Even yung, 'di ba, even the money, no, it compounds if we allocate it appropriately. And every act of foresight become future efficiencies, no? So, as a leader or future leaders, our responsibility is not only to deliver results, no? It is to prepare the ground for sustainable success, no? Next is every peso spent, every hour used, and every choices made reflects what we value most. So if we consistently investing in rework, crisis management, and reactive effort, that's what will keep on growing, no? But if we invest in clarity, communication, and quality, those habits will flourish instead, no? So, like everybody says, no, what we water grows. So, stewardship means choosing where to pour our energy wisely and purposely, no? And lastly, finally, understand how to lead finances, not just to track them, no, but building confidence and foresight, no. So it allows us to make a sound decision, communicate transparently, and stay accountable with ourselves and also within our team, within the firm. So when it's become part of our daily mindset, no, it empowers us to lead not from fear of mistakes, no, but from clarity of purpose. Every one of us has been entrusted with something, no? Our time, our people, our resources. Even the client gives us to us. So stewardship is the bridge between what's been entrusted to us and the legacy we leave behind, no? So it's not just about managing, no? It's about multiplying value. It's not also about control, no? But it's about care and accountability. So remember, when we choose integrity over convenience, no, and also prudence over pressure and purpose over profit, we begin to cultivate something that grows beyond. So like a seed, laging sinasabi sa atin, our daily decision is how we plan, how we spend, how we lead, no? It determine what takes root within us and within the team. It's more of trusting to make a lasting impact. Thank you so much for listening and staying up until this time. I hope I imparted knowledge with every one of you. Thank you so much and have a great night, no? I'll be leaving with you a personal insight assignment or take home assignment. So you can just snip this and answer it, no? So from the session, what realization or insight most resonate with you, no, about financial leadership, no? Second is financial leadership in action, no? Recall one situation in your engagement or previous project where you believe financial stewardship could have been applied better, no? What happened? What was been the impact, the time, nung time na yun, and how could you have been approached that in a different financial as a financial leader right now, when we already discussed the financial management, how could you have approached it differently, you know? And lastly, personal commitment, no, identify one concrete habit or behavior you will start, stop, or continue to strengthen your financial leadership in personal and your in the engagement or within the team, no? Thank you so much.